Like, sir. Kane is in the building. Already the show goes on all night. Till the morning we dream so long. Anybody ever wonder when they were seas?
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Overseas Famous podcast. Tonight, got to get some stuff off my chest. Tonight's a lot of anger, I feel like, this week. The Sixers definitely made me mad. I know they made Cam mad as well. So and that's a whole entire other discussion. I mean, we could sit there and talk about, blame and things like that. I just think as a fan, it was very frustrating and did not take that well. On top of that, I've been grinding, and we kind of like book update. I've been grinding for a while with this book and trying to get all this stuff done. Now we're like, in order for it to be like sent out and then they send me back the actual copy and I approve it and be like, yes, that's good. We need to finish getting all the reviews that are going to go on the back cover, the front cover. The book's done. It's edited. We're just waiting for those reviews. So all of these reviews, it takes some time to get people to respond back. So I've been on the phone with many people trying to get these reviews back so we can get it out by next week. I said that like a million times, but this is like the actual, like, if they don't get a review in, we don't get a review in, and we just go with what we have. So that's been pissing me off. And I've also started like the promo process, and I'm getting pissed off at the amount of people or places that I played that don't respond to me. Like, listen, I was an employee. I get that, but I helped build your brand. You helped me build my brand, but like, we helped each other. So I feel like if you're going to go and ignore my emails, ignore my calls, ignore things like that, the messages that I've sent to many people in the organizations, it pisses me off, because at some point you kind of have to have some a little bit of accountability and a little bit of just respect for the players that play in your organization. I've been like pissed off because I've been writing people and not knowing, because teams have written me back, but some of these organizations didn't write me back. So I have some beef. We have the NBA DLeague, the G League, because they're fucking famous now. So as they got famous, they kind of blew off the people who created the league, i.e. me. And listen, I'm not saying I created the league. I'm not saying I was an integral part. I'm not even saying in the years that I played that I was one of the top players in it. I wasn't even top 10. I might not even been on the top half of players in the D League, although I did start. So, I mean, that's kind of puts me in that top half. But I just feel like there's just a lack of respect. I've written, I've called, I've sent many messages, and no one's gotten back to me to be like, hey, we'll help you promo the book. I wrote a whole entire, like, 2 chapters about the D-League, and no response, no nothing. So it's pissing me off, because I just think, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, no offense, but like, you're big time, and I get that. And you have all these big time guys, and all of these players have now come out of the G League and been successful NBA players. But back in the day, when we were in Roanoke, Virginia, in the middle of nowhere, and there was nothing else, and we were the only game, the minor league basketball in town, and we were starting this whole entire NBA process and being connected to teams and traveling on buses and not getting paid shit, and pushing your product and pushing, us, and trying to get that NBA contract. And then you can't answer my phone calls. I'm just like pissed. So tonight, my brother's going to hop on in a little bit and talk a little bit more about the D League, because Geoff and my brother Geoff, played in the D League with me my first year. So I think it's just pissing me off, and I feel like the total grind that I go through on a daily basis is starting to get to me, and the fact that, like, those little people who should be helping you succeed kind of turn their back on you. And I don't even know why. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't piss off the league. I've mentioned them 1,000 times. I've talked about them. I've praised them. And like, no one can write me back. Like, I'm sorry, NBA G League. I'm sorry that you got too big for Kevin Owens. But I remember, back in the day, that was the big thing. So I just feel like that's you talk about like the NCAA too. And, this giant bag of dicks are just like, it's like there's so many things going on because the NCAA is having an issue right now. They're going through this whole entire thing with property, being able to have athletes, have advertisements and things like that. And it just pisses me off that, the NCAA, it's just like there's so much using of athletes. Like they use you and then they spit you out and then they won't return your phone calls. So like that bag of dicks is on my list. The D League is on my list now because they're just not showing that respect. And it's pissing me off and I'm starting to get stressed out because I feel like when you send enough emails, you'd think someone would be like, all right, dude, we get it. We'll help you promo the book. We'll help you do something. I mean, all I'm doing is reaching out and just being like, hey, my book's coming out. You guys are mentioning it in a very good light. Can you help, promo? Can you help send this book out? Can you get it to people? Can you show people? Can you put it on your website? Can you kind of show me as a veteran of the NBA D League? And nothing. So it's kind of starting to ruffle my feathers a little bit. But how are you guys? How's everything doing anyway?
I was just going to say, I wanted to make sure people knew that this wasn't just like Kevin ranting in his basement. This wasn't becoming like his Joker origin story.
Which it actually is. Yeah, I am.
He's just starting to go rogue. Like, no, Michela. John has left. John is nowhere to be seen.
John took off.
And now Camden. We're hanging in there, dude. We're here to provide therapy session for you and support. And I mean, it just brings me back to Brittany Collins. And if you haven't followed her and followed her journey, definitely do that because she is doing big, big things to take care of other people in similar situations. Yeah,
I totally agree. And you just talk about, I just feel like as an organization, all these big time organizations, I always look at like, with us, I feel like we have, and we're not a big time organization. Like we said, I'm ranting in my fucking basement, but we're still going back and being like, hey, you're a guest, we'll send you some gear. Here's, if you need anything, let us know. You want us to promo something? We're throwing promos up. We'll help out our people. Like you're part of our family. We're going to help you out. I just feel like it's such a weird attitude. Now, granted, I guess there's billions of ex-athletes and things like that, but there's also billions of employees and billions of people who can connect these people or just answer an email. So that's been very frustrating, just trying to figure out this promotional situation and not having the support or even a response back from an organization that I played for 3 years. I watched it grow into what it is today. And granted, I might not have been, like I said, I'm not like an all-star. I am top 40 all time. This is like the stupid stats that I take pride on. Top 40 of all time of D League, G League, everything, in terms of, per 36 minutes, like rebounds. I'm like that one of the top. And then also, I was one of like the top defenders in terms of like how many people scored against me. Now we've talked about Ben Simmons, and that obviously doesn't fucking matter when you can't close out a game. But it's still one of those things where you kind of take pride on it. So I definitely was excited to play in the D League. I was definitely very excited, but I'm like pissed right now because I feel like they're not returning my calls, and I don't know why that would be. I mean, is there a statute of limitations on just like being part of the family, or are they just like, whatever, dude, you're old news? Anyone?
I mean, I think it's just, lack of care for, I mean, we see it in so many large organizations. Once they grow to get to that point, the higher they get, the lower their list of people that they correlate, or not correlate with, but correspond with, gets shorter and shorter just based on how big they are. But it's got to be frustrating because, it's like you said, you're not just a random player who played in the G League one random year and then, did something else. Like you were like a stepping stone into what they've become now. It's like they owe you almost in a sense.
And I get paid. Yeah, I totally agree. And I didn't pay Cam to say that. That was completely him. But I totally agree. I feel like that those 3 years, when I look at the D League, I get paid $12 grand to play in the D League.
And now they're paying guys millions.
Yeah, and now
like the new guys coming in are getting 1 million, 1.2 million is the most latest guy that just committed there. So it's crazy, that discrepancy. And then they can't even respond to your email. It's not like, you're not asking for, that kind of money. You're asking for an email back. You're asking for a review on a good word that you're giving them. It's not like you're trashing them in the book. You're giving them a good word about what they used to be. I'm sure if you could rewrite the book right now, it would probably be a little bit different wording. But
oh yeah, like anyone who's wronged me in the book is definitely I've taken note of that, and their chapters can be a little bit tricky. Geoff. So again, I told you guys my brother Geoff hopping on, Geoff Owens. Geoff played all over the world as well, overseas basketball. Also, we had him on earlier to talk a little bit about the Cavaliers, his time with the Cavs and playing LeBron's rookie year. So that was fun. But Geoff, played all over the world, had a cup of coffee in the NBA, also played with me in the D League, which is now the G League. For if you played in the D League, get the fuck out of our base league. So that's kind of where we're at. So Geoff, we were like talking earlier today. I was like, hey, we're going to talk about the D League. And you're like, I have some great stories. I don't know if you knew that I was going to come on here and just like be pissed off at the D League. And I was telling them, like, I wrote them 1,000 times, be like, hey, the book's coming out. Would you guys be able to correspond? Would you guys be able to, help me out, promo anything, give me like a little help? No response. Like 15 emails to 15 people, no response. So in my mind, I feel like the Owens brothers have a good place in history in the D League. And not that anyone owes us anything, because we're always, we grew up, no one owes us a goddamn thing, but like a little, just a response to an email. I'm not saying you have to, like the players, like you're saying, Cam, are making 1.2 million and we made $12,000. Like I'm not asking for, what's the word where you, reparations or like inflation. Like I'm not asking for that. All I'm saying is, a little good lookout. But Geoff played with me in the D League. We're on the inside stuff, NBA inside stuff. That was a really good time.
Gotta find that tape, man. It exists somewhere.
It does. And I tried to look up for it on YouTube and they didn't have it. Like nothing on NBA inside stuff. And there's some, it's weird because you click on like the NBA inside stuff archives and some pop up. It's like that episode. It's like they threw that right in the incinerator. So talking D League, Geoff, you had some crazy stories. Now, Geoff played in the D League. Were you there the first year?
Second year.
Okay. So you were second year. I was third year. You were second and third year. I was third, fourth, and fifth year. So for 4 of those first 5 years they had in existence, now granted, our team did end up going bankrupt, but at the same time, I think we definitely had played a good part in that league and really helping it develop. And I think we're owed something here and there. But tell us your experience that your first year in the D League.
Well, a little background, I remember it coming up my first year out of college, and I actually got a phone call from Chris Alpert, who was like when I was coming out of college, and I was 2000 class 2001, we got this league starting up, you'd be great for. I'm like, and it's all like earnings. I'm like, let me try to go, let me see what else is out there. And had a year overseas and did okay. And really the reason I did a second year is I got hurt in end of July. and wasn't ready to go back overseas till like October. And at that point, it was like, well, the D League, or you wait till someone else gets hurt overseas and the job opens up. So it was kind of I would say twisted my arm, but it was twisted my ankle more or less, and kind of was injured, and I could not, and like embarrassingly so, I could not recover from it. And so it was like, and I don't know if you remember this, like I was there, it was so bad that like I couldn't do anything. And then like late September, like Mike Siegel's like, hey, go to the Sixers, have workouts like pre-4.
Yeah, I remember this.
Go over there and play. Like all the guys from John Harnett's work, a lot of Philly guys and stuff like that. And I was so out of shape and bad. It was the only time I cried. I'm like, God damn it. And you know who was there was Zaza Pachulia, who was like 17 at the time. And he looked the same as he does now. He's like a reverse Paul Rudd or something.
Yeah.
Like he like looks the exact, you remember at 17, like this guy's like 40. And I was like, I heard like, oh, he's like some phenom from whatever, Georgia or whatever he's from. I'm like, oh, like he looked like he was like 39 years old. But and it was really struggling. I was like, all right, I guess I got to do this. And I didn't know I was make the team. You remember that thing? I had 30 guys there, and you're like, everyone's pretty good, and somehow made the team. And it was just like I remember I was just kind of like scraping the first part of the year, like trying to figure it out. And then once I kind of figured it out, like guys like Mikey Moore and Corey Alexander kind of took you in and were trying to help me, and like these are things you got to do, is what they're looking for, and so forth. So you kind of had this hope, but after second year, and you spent a couple of years there kind of hoping for that call up, and the reality was really just at that point in the D League, it was like, I'm going to stash a guy here in the NBA team I don't have enough roster space for, and I'm going to call him back up when I'm ready. It wasn't really like a true, this guy's not ready out of college, we're going to develop him and get him there. I mean, remember like they had those big Gatorade call-ups or whatever, and it was like every single guy had already been in the NBA. It wasn't maybe like Marquis over the second year was one of the first ones who wasn't an NBA guy when he got that call-up second year. And it was whatever his last name. Yeah, but that was like Perry, yes. So it was like, that was kind of when I guess, I don't know if it's different now. I should be more in the loop. Should have prepared more for this, but.
Sure. Well, considering they haven't answered my emails, I feel like we're.
I'm surprised. I mean, who is anybody? I mean, I guess it's different people now.
Yeah, it's all different people. So I reached out. Like, there's people that I looked up, and I'm like looking up Kevin Carr. I'm like, nope, he's not there anymore. Chris Alpert's not there anymore. Like, all of these guys are out. So it's a whole new regime. But still,
is it centralized at all, or is it really that nowadays, like the Sixers control the 87ers and or is it because before it was independent as much as to speak, like we weren't affiliated with anybody. Anybody could have called any of us up.
Yeah,
we were affiliated with the NBA, but there was an official D League organization. So maybe that's different. Maybe that helps.
Yeah, and I feel like it was just because there's still the league office and things like that. But I do think, yes, it is very centralized in terms of, the 76ers have their own team, and everyone has their own team. There was like one weird thing where like a team that was really close, I think it was like Cedar Rapids or something, Michigan. They went and they're like an affiliate for someone completely different now. And I'm like, wait, why would they were like the Pistons affiliate, and it would make sense, Detroit. And then they went to like somewhere weird and different. And I was like, that's really weird. But I guess, some teams need, and they'll probably change the whole entire thing. And I guess if the fan base isn't growing, but it's just, I mean, you're right. Like, I think the NBA D-League started as a way to, they wanted the development process. They wanted to kind of develop some guys who were NBA players who weren't on that roster, and they didn't want them going overseas and leaving. But I think it, just like you said, there was only those guys who had that experience that they were calling up, and then they're like, let's get some, a bunch of other bag of dicks in here and just like be like, all right, how are they going to play? Let's see if they have any talent and see if they have a shot. And I do think it's like you said, the Sixers, you were with the Cavs. I had a cup of coffee, with the Sixers. It's like you have these little opportunities, but in terms of just like the big picture, I feel like guys now, it's what it should be. The D League is what it should be. It's the minor league system. Everyone has a team. These guys are getting called up. I mean, look at the Sixers roster, even for the playoffs, like Isaiah Joe and Paul B-Ball Paul Reed. Shake, all of these guys were on the Delaware Blue Coats. That's what they're called, right? Cam.
Sort of 80s, were they the 87ers for a while?
It was the 87ers. It's the Blue Coats.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Yeah. I have kids, man. I can't keep up anymore.
So I think it's become like what it was supposed to be, but I feel like that the pioneering of it is what I'm I'm most proud of, but at the same time you're kind of like frustrated. But I think we were, and this is like the big question, like, do you think that if you were talking to Chris Alpert or you're talking to Kevin Carr or guys who really helped to build this league into what it is now, would they, and you said the Owens brothers, would they have a smile? Would they immediately know who we were and be like, oh shit, yeah, they were huge? I feel like that we would. I feel like those guys would be like, oh,
maybe you had a little more time there. I don't know. I was kind of, I felt like first year I was just like, I felt like I was just on borrowed time. Like I was like, I can't believe I'm still on this team. And I got better as the year went on, but it was such a strange year. Kind of like going from like, I was close to being like, can I play right now? I was just like, I embarrassed myself at the Sixers mini camp. Like, I'm like, I can't get a job overseas. I'm banged up. I barely made this team. I'm sitting the bench first. I was like, just hanging, and then slowly got better. But I don't know. It was I wasn't in that. It took me to the end of that year till I was like, started really seeing a big picture. I'm here because I want to try to make the NBA versus I'm here because I was injured and no one else was taking me at the time. But once, in retrospect, I'm looking back at it, I probably wouldn't have stayed a second year. I probably would have gone to Europe because I think it's just realizing that you have a small window and you get your chance. Didn't happen. I should have probably realized when the Cavs things didn't work. Take that because there's, when you go over to Europe, you have a little NBA stink on you, so to speak. Like they're ready to open their checkbooks a little bit. Like even if you had they looked at that. So it was kind of like, I should have, in my opinion, I was like, I felt like I wasted a year down there. By the way, awesome. We got to play together. It was one of the best years ever. But like in retrospect, to know that, you're making $20,000 a year because I had my little NBA experience, they awarded me 20, which was for basically 5 months of 900 hours a week of work. But I would probably might have gone right over to Europe to cash in. But that's the challenge. I think you go to Europe, you're out of sight, out of mind, and you make some money long term. You're here, you never know. Yeah. Someone gets hurt at the right time. You have a good game the right time. That's kind of I think that's the dream.
I think like you hit it on the head with like the mental side of it. I feel like your first year and my first year were very similar in terms of like I didn't know I had no idea what was going on. I was just kind of running around. I've told the story in the book about, how we were sitting there and, Geoff was already, not 20 guys get invited to training camp. They were all drafted in the 10 rounds. And then there's the 10 guys or whatever who are coming back from last year. So you have that mix and then only 10 make the team. So there was the guys from last year. So Geoff was kind of, he knew the coach. It was a good situation. He'd done some nice. Were you in Cleveland that summer before the second year?
Yeah, I'd been in the Cavs Midsummer League and done. I just gotten cut by the Cavs, so I was like, right.
Yeah,
I was in a place where I wasn't worried about making the team.
Yeah.
But at that point, I knew that I was the last cut. I was, praying that maybe Bruno Sogaski's feet would break again or something. Or they might make it. They had a bunch of big guys. Remember they had like Chris Mim and Sagana Diop and Carlos Boozer. They were just a lot of bigs, and just maybe they make a trade to get a couple bigs or something, or trade a couple 2-for-1. I was just hoping for that kind of.
I feel like that was that first year. Yeah, like you knew what was going on. I kind of stepped in and was like, "Oh shit! Like what is this? Like that same thing that you kind of went through that first year. Everything was so new. I didn't know what was going on. I feel like that year was a blur. Like we were living together, and I was learning how to. We always talk about the yin to the yang. Like Geoff is very, very much. He's very organized. He's very, more straight laced. Like, and I'm just like wild and more like out there. So we were always the yin and the yang. I felt like we balanced each other out that year pretty well. But that was like the same thing. I learned a lot. that first year. So the second year I was like, oh shit, like now I'm going to go and play. And now it's like real. Like you went to Malouse. I was there. I was like, all right, let's do this. Like, let's go. I'm ready to rock. And that second year was like the same thing. I had a really good year, loved it. And then that was the same thing. I was like, you know what? Like I'm not like 20 grand is not cutting it. Like I can't live off that. It's the craziest thing to be that close to the NBA. And I don't think there's anything like that. You're so close to the NBA and like people are buying you dinner because you can't afford like food. And it's just crazy.
We're just thinking about that. Like you're looking at a check, like, can I get an appetizer? Like, you know what I mean? It's a weird thing.
It is. I can't, like 18, 20 grand is not going to cut it. And then granted, it was 5 months, but like I was doing other things outside of that when I got home. And
yeah, I mean, you remember saying I was in Turkey. As soon as that season was over, I was on a plane in Turkey for a few months. And then the second year I was on a plane to France. Like I made more in my like finishing 2-3 months of a season in Europe, like significantly more in those times than I did the entire D-League season. And that's not what it's all about, but you knew that you have a window maybe to get to the NBA where you're good. Everything's where you want to be, or you know that you got a window to say, I got to make some money now because I'm going to turn 30 soon. And maybe unless I'm lucky, like most guys, I got to go put a suit and tie on. I got to go figure something else out. Like I'm going to be, this isn't a forever job. I mean, I see every once in a while, I see some guy. I mean, I think you said T. Shannon was still playing up until a couple of years ago, and he was almost 40.
Yeah, and Aaron Maxey, Aaron's still trying. He was trying to get in the TBT. Like he's still going and trying to play, and he's 42. Like he's your age, but it's like crazy that some of these guys that I've talked to and still connect with are still going, and I just feel like, and that we talk about.
My body's fucked right now. No chance.
It's like,
can we get we call it an old man update on here, Geoff? Could you give us an old man update?
Yeah.
Because your brother hasn't given us one today. So
yeah, I haven't given the old man update.
Old man update. Part. Yeah.
Just take us.
So
through just the
here's what it is, and I see you got the Orioles hat there. I managed the Orioles in the Haverford Township Little League this year, 12 and 13-year-olds. So kudos to the hat. It makes my family, if you know, obviously Kevin's probably told you, my grandfather, Paul Owens, managed the Phillies on the field against the Orioles, who beat them in the World Series in '83. Yeah. So I know it, like, it's the only time I can wear like an Orioles cap. But so I'm not even throwing hard, throwing like batting practice. I threw maybe 80 pitches. It was a quick session. And of course, like 2 days later, I have a little torn muscle between my ribs for like 2 weeks. I'm walking around like I got to turn my whole, I can't really see, but I turn my whole body like, Geoff, what? Like it was embarrassing.
What's that movie? He's like, got a good view from the bench.
Exactly. Yeah, just that's the latest. Although I'm doing a triathlon this weekend, so we'll see.
That's crazy. Yeah, you did the one in Hammonton. Geoff does like triathlons. We talked about this like in our personal conversations, but like my knees have severe arthritis, so I got the shots. I've been running a little bit, but it's not as bad, but it's still like I still feel pain. Like anyone who says that you get shots and you just suddenly can run a marathon, like you can't. Like it's still very painful, but it's not as bad as it was. So that's my old man update. Geoff's got his old man. Like this is what basketball players go through. It's just sucks. When you can, and like
it was basically you know what I mean. We borrowed very heavily from our bodies in the day, and then suddenly the bills are come due when you hit 40.
Lots of creditors chasing me right now.
You said that was a personal conversation. That is all over Twitter and Instagram. You better not.
Oh yeah.
I get Kevin to repeat stuff all the time. I'm like, wait, say it again. That was really funny. Say it again.
But Geoff, you have some good D-League stories that you have to get off your chest. I'm hoping that, and I'm not saying like this whole episode is not like a knock on the D-League. I don't want like Chris Alpert texting me and being like, "What the fuck, dude?" Like, come on. But I just definitely, it's my frustration with I've done a lot, and I feel like I've done a lot to help the league. I've written a lot about it. I've done a lot to help when I was playing. We're doing community services, and granted, they gave me a whole lot too and helped me, establish my career. But I feel like we were saying it's got to be like a give take relationship. So you can't just ignore. I feel like you can't ignore me. But I feel like I want to hear your story because I definitely want it to be negative towards the D-League.
And you know what? All these experiences add to the tapestry of stories I can share. And I really I can't believe I haven't told you this story because it was so weirdly messed up that I can't even find, I still don't understand it. And it's been almost 20 years. So I kind of gave you the prep that I was kind of like just coming into my own, started the D-League, was on the bench to start the year, had a couple good games, got a starting spot, and suddenly like some of the NBA guys are on the team, like Mikey Moore and Corey Alexander, kind of like take me under their wing, give me advice, where they're talking to me, where I'm like, all right, things are going well. We're playing Charleston. I don't know if they had a team the second year. And I matched up with a guy who I didn't even know his name at the time, but he's another big white guy, strong dude named Peter Cornell. Now, Peter Cornell, if you know, he played in the Will Ferrell basketball movie. He played like the Russian guy. He was like an actor.
Oh, yeah.
Like played a little bit in the NBA. Like he's kind of like he's like a known dude. Didn't know him from Adam. And just like I normally do, like when I play against somebody, like it's like Doc Holliday and Tombstone, like, what do you say, darling? Should I hate him? And like I'm just like, and that's kind of how I whoever I'm playing as, I hate them for that moment. But I'm a sportsman about it. But I remember the game basically being nothing memorable. Just like we got into it about, we were definitely being physical with each other. He was strong as shit. I felt like I got the better of him. So I'm going to tell this story from the factor of so you understand the fact that in my mind, nothing abnormal happened this game. He fouled out, and I can tell you, I only remember this because we watched the tape afterwards.
Oh, I remember this. I do remember this story.
He's walking, we're at Roanoke, so I'm shooting down our end. He's walking across the court. He's like foul line extended between the 3-point line and the elbow, like a good distance from me. I can't remember if he says something to me. He kind of looks at me, and I kind of gave him, because I want to, of course, you have to be hard. Of course, you're trying to act like that because you're 24 and you think you're the toughest person in the world. And that was the end of it. I think I might have miraculously made the foul shots, and I played well. He fouled out. I played well. We win the game. I'm happy, even though we got it. It was like one of those things. It's a normal game. We got into it. We're friends afterwards. Shake hands. Their assistant grabs me after the game. Didn't know him at all, and starts lecturing me on how you can't. This is a man's league. You can't play in this league if you can't protect yourself. You got to I'm like. What game is he talking to the wrong person? What game is he watching? I thought I did awesome. I remember saying something to him I'm not gonna, he got the foul. We won the game. I'm not gonna give foul him back if he fouls me. And there was nothing. And I even watched the tape. There was nothing egregious. He was stronger than me, so he got the better of me on a few of the fouls. But they were fouls. He pushed me in the back and a rebound. It's a foul. What am I gonna do? Turn and punch him or is that really is that the? It was weird. Their assistant grabbed me like that, and I was and he's. Get me on, and I'm just the whole time he's talking to me in the hallway for minutes, and I'm just what the? I think I've never felt like I might out of body experience. What did I miss? So I get back in the locker room, and I guess Coach Davidson was there, and Coach Davidson's did that guy spit on you? And I was what? Saliva? No. Why? And then all of a sudden Mikey's he spit on you? And it was this thing ran around the locker room. And I'm what? He did that to you? You can't let that sit. I'm just no, I don't know. He didn't. And it was at that point, it just became this thing of its own. And the whole end of the speech, we had the game about got to stand up for yourself and do this. I'm we watched the tape. I'm what are you guys talking about? We're right there. I'm he was 20 feet away. He couldn't have, did he? I didn't see, it was so far away. No, I don't think so. And I'll tell you, I never actually have closure on this, but so the next game, they're telling me every game now, and this wasn't, I picked up fouls just by existing, so I was never really needed.
That was the D-League.
But that was part of the deal. And that's story another time. But we were dirty players or something. That was the rumor. But anyway, they wanted me. The next guy was first guard drives in the lane, you take a hard foul. So they wanted me to do that. I'm all right, I'll make the NBA. I'm going to do that. So I never tried to hurt anybody, but I was skinny, so it wasn't like I really did any damage. But like instead of just going for a straight front block, I just smack down and, come across their body and okay, check the box, got my heart foul. Okay, can I play now? And like, so we play them again at their place, and they set it up like first play, you just maul him. And I kind of do. He goes to the basket, and I go over the block, and I smack down, foul him. And I was like, okay, are we done yet? No. Call the timeout. You're going to get the ball, and I want you to turn and drop step and lead with your elbow and just try to. So like I do that. But I guess my body went so fast that like literally I went past him and got a layup because I was like, that didn't work. Or it did work, but so finally let it go. Yeah. It was like finally they do it again. I kind of come into it, but he's freaking stronger than me. So like you probably felt like, who's this? Yeah. Go fly on him. But like that's the story. Like that this is like a real thing. That like they was like, what happened here? And then so fast forward, like that summer, I see South Jersey's finest, Joe Crissman at Summer League. And he's playing with Peter Cornell, I think the Timberwolves. And we're talking, it's been a while, we played together in Summer League. Joe Crissman's a guy who was my age, from South Jersey player. We played like Summer League and stuff together, so we knew each other from a long time ago. And he's like, what's with you and Peter Cornell? And I kind of gave him the short version, just being like, dude, like, I guess we got into one game. My teammates all blew it up, and they said you got to be like tough. And then if you ever see him, tell him sorry. And like that's where I left it. And I try to explain it to people now that I work. I was like, can you imagine you go into your office and you have a disagreement with a customer, with a coworker, with a teacher, and then the principal or the owner calls you in. All right, next time you got to punch that guy in the face because that's how it works here, and you're never going to make it here if you don't punch that guy in the face next time. And I was like, what world is that acceptable? And sadly, I'm like, I guess, shows my character that I was like, well, all right, I'll take a hard foul first every game. I guess that's what you're supposed to do. And totally against my character and against like everything else. I was like, no, like I'll block the shot. Why would I take a hard foul when I can block the shot? Like it was like, I don't know. I guess it was the weirdest thing, and then it was over. And like to this day, like every once in a while I think about it, I'm like, I wonder what he's doing. I feel like I should call him and be like, I'm sorry. That was really effed up. It happened, but like, I don't think you understand the whole story. Well, and maybe I might find out that I did spit at you, piece of shit. I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
now at least I know.
Okay.
Well, I'm getting closure now on why like every single time I step in the game, they're like foul. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even do anything. And they called fouls on us like crazy. And I remember I used to get so mad. But they probably thought like, and listen, like I have a very similar story. I wrote about it in the book. Randall Orr, I don't think he was there when you were there. He was like, I think he was my age. But when you play in the D League, especially when we were there, it was like, there's like 6 teams. So you're describing that like you're going to have to play this guy a ton of times. So Randall, he played for one team that we ended up playing. Like we have those back-to-back, like we're at their place for 2 or 3 games, and then they come to our place the next weekend, 2 games. So we played him like 6 times, and I think that was like the limit, like 8 times or something. So we played his team a bunch of times, and then we didn't play this other team. So we were battling, like it was like a lot of like shit talking, and he was like coming at me, and same thing. Like I felt like he was strong, but I was like as strong as he was, so we were kind of equal. And we like that. I remember he called me things, and you know me, like I sometimes spat off at the mouth. So I kind of gave it back to him a little bit. So he ended up getting. I thought it was like kind of over. I was like, whatever. He ends up getting traded and playing for. He was either on Huntsville. And then got traded to Columbus, and we didn't play Columbus like at all. So that now we're back at it, and we're playing all these times. And he like dunked on me. I think he called me a pussy, and was just like, I was like screw this. And I remember the same thing. Like in my mind, I'm like, he just bitched me. Like he completely bitched me. And I remember we were driving back, and I was like, I knew we played them like 2 days later, and I was so mad, and I couldn't like control it. So I remember I went up and I was like super physical in that game, aggressive, like banging stuff. And then he came in and like we went for a loose ball or like knocked him over and like fouled him. And like I stood over him which I shouldn't have done because it comes off like we're slowly discovering why refs call these fouls on us because they're like, he's like, this guy used to foul people hard as shit in the beginning of the game, and then this guy's his brother's standing over. So like
mine was reluctant. I didn't want to do it, but I was only following orders, which only good things happen when you do that, right?
So I stood over him. And it was like the first time in my life where I like really thought I like kind of that turning point where you're kind of like, you know, I was the same way. Like I didn't want to hurt anyone. I wasn't a confrontational person at all. And I'm not, but it was like that first time in my life, I was like, let's see what happens. So like I knocked him down and I said something to him and I saw him ball up his fist. And now I was playing with Seth at the time. So like I saw him, I'm standing over him. He kind of is like pushing off and I wouldn't move. And I saw him ball up his fist. And like, as he's getting up, I like leaned forward and into his ear. I was like, I wish you would. And like, he fucking like flew up like a crazy person. I kind of like got, and we were like, you know, grabbing and pushing
like
and
basketball
shoving.
fight style.
Yeah. They like separated us. But it was like that first time in my life, I was like, holy shit. Like I actually stood up for myself. Like I didn't let this guy get the best of me. He like punked me in the last game and I didn't let him like do that. So I think that was like a turning point in my life. It kind of gave me that aggression. But also Seth was there and he was like, Seth's like real big on like, Seth Dalbo, he was on the show earlier. He's like super confrontational. Like he just wanted to, like
he's the guy who's that's what he's looking for.
Yeah. Like he's going out there like, say something, bitch. And you're like, oh Jesus. So that's like my crazy beat. But I do feel like that we're discovering a lot about the D League right now and why we were perceived. And now I'm starting to now I'm almost feeling bad because now I know why they're not answering my phone calls or they're my emails because they're just like this dirty motherfucker.
No, I don't know. Like I don't think because that lasted my story lasted a couple weeks because the next time we played him, he went overseas. He was not on the team anymore. So it was this weird thing that happened and no one talked about it again. I'm like, all right, I guess I passed the test. It was like an initiation. Like, all right, I guess I'm not, it was that's why to this day, I still can't fathom it. And I try to explain it to somebody like regular civilian who works a regular job. And it's like, you imagine when you were pissed off at your coworker and you're going to practice, oh, I'm going to this guy up in practice today. I want to walk into his office and just, knock his computer over and just push him out of his and pull his chair out from under him.
Put your hand here and just staple it. You're like, yeah. Remember yesterday, bitch? Yeah.
Remember when you left that shit on the copier? How's that?
Office fights. It's like you can't compare. It's like basketball's such athletic, pro athletes. You're taught your whole life you have to be this crazy psychopath, and then it's like all of a sudden it ends, and you're just like, okay, here's the deal: don't commit any crimes, don't do this, and now you need to find a job that's going to be successful.
You can't call people though. You can't use any language you used before.
Yeah, and you have to use It's like wild to think that. It's like very similar. We talk about it all the time, very similar to the military. I mean, obviously the military have such a ridiculously challenging job, but you're taught to be a maniac, and then you kind of have to subside that and just live a normal life. So it's wild. But I do think and also I do think we're going to find closure because Michela and Cam are going to tag. I keep on saying in my mind I'm thinking Chris Cornell, and you know how my mind works, ADD. Now I'm singing.
No, he's dead. No wonder I can't get any closure.
I'm singing Soundgarden hit songs in my head.
Damn, I know he really. God, I hope he didn't kill himself because of that.
Yeah, it's Chris Cornell. Okay. So I'm all I'm thinking is Chris Cornell and not Peter Cornell. But we're gonna tag him in this. We'll find his Instagram, his Twitter, and we're going to tag him in all this and just be like, let's find closure.
Kevin says when that is exclusively my job.
And by the way,
it's going to be me.
All Our parents used to say, "Do you have a mouse in your pocket?" Like anytime, it's like, "Hey, we're gonna do this," and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, we." What time? Oh man, we've been. I told them in the beginning. I was like, "Listen, we're trying to keep the episodes 45 minutes." I was like, I feel very.
You can edit some of my boring shit out. It's okay.
I went on a rant for like the first 15 minutes, so we can edit some of that down too. I'm sure that, and I feel like we'll have to play some music in the background. There's another part I was like, oh, I should tell them to put like a sound effect here, but I don't know. They know what they're doing. I don't. I'm just like sitting here, fucking trying to hide my nipples.
You just say stuff.
I just say stuff and cover my nipples, and that's about it. My shirts get a little. I cut them too tight, so like they get a little too close, and they get like.
Now that would be a quarter in the douchebag jar.
That would be a quarter in the douchebag jar. Like in
that comment right there, and everyone on Instagram's on your side.
Right? They say I'm so nice.
Kevin's perfect.
Hold on.
I said
I had to explain.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of like the social media and the promos and yada yada. And last week we were talking about tank tops and how maybe they don't make you inherently a douchebag, but they've become like a douchey trend. Kevin then proceeds to tell us, I never cut them too short because I don't want to show my nipples. Like I don't want my nipples hanging out. And I just use the same pattern. It's not a good, I agree. It's not a good look. Good. Because I'm also like a wannabe stand-up comedian and I do this, I put on the Instagram story, should we make a douchebag jar for Kevin? And the two options were, yeah, Kevin needs it, or no, Kevin is perfect. And right now, Kevin is perfect is winning. And I don't know if people think it's ironic.
I will say I voted for myself on that. I did vote for myself, so there is that. Yeah. Michela, are you are we game timing it?
I think it's time.
All right.
To do that, but also
good for you on the tank tops. You didn't inherit the hairy shoulders gene apparently.
No, I have,
so that's why I have to avoid that.
Yeah, but I have this like this bursa sac that like I've had every doctor. I'm just like the first time every year I'm like, Doc, check it out. Is it good? It's just like a sack of fluid, and he's like, no, it's still good. He's like, I'll cut it out if you want, but it's
throw a little face on it.
Yeah, it's like completely unnecessary, but that's what. Yeah. So I didn't inherit the hairy shoulders, but I did inherit the hairy shoulder. That's what I'm gonna call him from now.
I'm gonna name it Harry.
Yeah, hairy shoulder.
Well, what I think we should do, I'm going to take the reins a little bit. Kevin, would you like to announce the winner of the free tank top? Does not make this person a douchebag. We have to clarify.
Yeah, this does not wearing tank tops.
It puts you one step closer. How's that?
Yeah. Like, listen, I'm not saying wearing a tank top is like something that douchebags don't do, because I'm sure they do. I've seen multiple douchebags wearing tank tops. However, when you wear a tank top, to me, and I've explained this before, I'm a very sweaty person. Like, just so I wore a t-shirt the other day, just like it was almost like a scientific experiment. I wore a t-shirt the other day just to see, and it was hot, and I was so uncomfortable. I was drenched by the end, and it's because the airflow under here is like, hold on, I'm reversed. The airflow under here is just so it's so much better. So I feel like I stay core, like a dog laying on the kitchen floor. I feel like the tank top is my laying on the kitchen floor. So yes, you could be douchier. You could be a douchebag and wear a tank top, and I'm sure there's plenty of them. And I'm sure I've seen a lot of them. But for me and for our winner and for anyone else who wears tank top and just wants tank top freedom without douchiness, more power to you. So our winner of the tank top this week is, and we spun the wheel, Ben Heyman. So congrats, Ben. We're going to send you out a tank top. So that will be fun. You'll get a tank top. We'll be in contact with you, get your size, everything, and then we're going to shoot you out a tank top. And you can rock that thing everywhere. And then on the back, we should put, I'm not a douchebag.
Well, I mean, I think the Venn diagram, if like the circles that overlap, of like it's like douchebag and basketball player, like the commonality is tank top.
Yeah.
So where are you going to fall? Are you on which side of that are you on?
Yeah.
Camden, your next assignment is to make a Venn diagram graphic for us to post on Instagram.
And then we all, like filling your area. I feel like I might be. I don't think I'm a douchebag.
I say basketball player, I mean actually like actively on the court in uniform basketball player, not just like a has been with old man problems.
Yeah, that's me.
Like, you know.
It's so funny because the Zoom screen is
always this way. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, like, I feel like I'm. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah. Everything's flipped. I can't do. I'm fixing the wrong nipple all the time. Like I can't do the reverse. Like I'm just like that thing where you're like tapping your head. And
there is a way I think you can. I shouldn't be telling you this. There is a way you can actually do not mirror image. I think or mirror image. So,
really?
Yeah.
Under your
video settings.
So right now I'm getting the whole entire studio / office is getting a revamp. I do think Rod Benson. Do you remember Rod played in the D-League? He also played overseas. He had a big podcast.
He was. Yeah, I remember. There was a great episode.
Yeah. So Rod was just like laughing. He was just like, "Yeah, I don't have." He's like, he had a bunch of paintings behind him, and then he's like, "Yeah, I don't keep like any memorabilia." And it was like similar, like some, like I don't keep all my memorabilia like a douchebag. I'm like looking behind me.
Let me do a virtual background on it.
Hold, please. Check out the beach.
Yeah.
All right. So, Michela, rock on.
So, Geoff, how familiar are you with the movie Step Brothers?
Yeah,
I've got an above average comfort level.
Okay.
For that movie, yes.
So I know you and Kevin are not Step Brothers. However, the first thing that came to mind was, let's play a game of who can finish the quote more efficiently or like perfectly between the two of you. So I'll pick a couple quotes from the movie. And if you think you can finish it, just blurt it out.
All right. Rock, paper, scissors, see who goes first. Hold on. I feel like there's scissors. All right. I feel like there's like a glitch. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3, shoot. All right, rock. All right, I'm going first.
That was a paper. You win. Yeah.
All right, go ahead, Michela.
Let's see. Did we just become
best friends? Ding, ding, ding.
That is the answer. Brennan, that is the voice of an angel. Brennan, I can't even make eye contact with you right now. Your voice is like.
Oh, thank God I went first.
Oh, it's really hilarious, whatever it is. I can't, it's very specific and I can't remember what it is right now. Damn it.
Am I allowed to answer if they?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, okay.
Where did you end off?
Your voice is
A.
Isn't it a combination of Fergie and Jesus?
Yes.
It was hilarious.
I knew it was very specific and hilarious.
I knew it was a combo of something, but I couldn't think of like the combo.
Oh, that was good.
One's a little graphic, but we sail around the world and go port to port every time I
know that one too.
I'm trying to think of like the exact. I don't know if he says like every time I can't, but I know he says produce a court.
Yes.
But I can't. Every time does he say come? I produce a court. Okay, good.
I was gonna say you have a daughter. You have a kid. Like you're covered.
Gross.
Ew, so gross. Ew, David.
Ew, see that. Oprah, Barbara Walters, your wife. You gotta fuck one.
Marry one, kill one.
Yeah.
I got that one context, please.
Yeah, that one's pretty.
Yeah, if you just left off with you gotta, I'd be like, ooh.
Yeah, I think that would. Yeah, you cut that one shorter.
Yeah.
So this one is a response.
Okay.
Why are you so sweaty?
I was watching Cops. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I use that one just like anytime I walk into a room, like if my daughter is like sweating or something, or like anyone sweating, and I walk in a room, like, where were you watching Cops? So that's like become my go-to of sweat. I'm sure.
I didn't watch that movie again. Oh my god, that's funny.
I know what I'm doing tonight.
No, is that streaming anywhere? I gotta figure that out.
I don't know. I feel like we should have like a watch party. All right, we need one more for Geoff, right?
Yeah.
That's so funny. The last time I heard that, I
actually used this quote. I used
my dinosaur. Is that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's another good one.
They didn't have it on this list specifically, but I love the one where he's like, "This house is a prison. I'm playing bullshit." He's so mad. That was my game.
I love it. Cam, I want to know what do you use?
Where was he? How about a bonus question? Where was Dale dripping wet from? My throat.
From my, what was it? It was chest hairs down the middle.
No, chest pubes. My ball fro.
Ball fro. That's right. It was like. Oh, that movie is complete gold.
I just think it's a funny dynamic because like I'm always pretty much the only girl here, but like I had an older brother, so like I've been put through all of it. Like I can relate to like everything.
Cam, have you used I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur? Is that a go-to?
I use that one all the time.
I feel like I need to add that one in. I laughed so hard I fell off my dinosaur. I'm gonna try to use that one tomorrow. Like just in a random conversation. Like I feel like that would be a good response to, like, I go through Home Depot. I fixed tile on my floor and I went through I've been there like every day for the past 2 weeks. So when I go there, people are just like, "Oh, you should play for the Sixers." I'm like, "Dickhead, like it's easy. I've tried. Trust me." Like I gave it my all and I didn't get it. Thank you for making me feel shitty. But like, they're like, anytime someone has one of those.
Doesn't it make you feel shitty? God, it's so terrible. I'm glad I was like, God, I feel so bad about myself when I ask her. I'm like, now at least I can be like, dude, I'm 43. Like,
yeah.
But like, even then, like, yeah, no, you know what? I just didn't want to. Yeah, you're right. I should have played basketball.
Yeah, damn it.
Damn it. Why didn't you come to me earlier? She would have changed my life. You stranger at the fucking cereal aisle.
Here I am buying grout, and I could have been passing the ball to Ben Simmons.
I never even realized that was an option for me.
Yeah,
God,
a series of unfortunate events. So yeah, fall off my dinosaur. I need to use that one tomorrow. I'm gonna use I'll plug it into my repertoire, and I'll be like, I need to use that. Then I want to use it to a stranger. Just if he says something like smart thing, I'm like, that's so funny. I fell off my dinosaur, and just like walk away and see if he's just like, this guy is a douchebag. He's gonna go vote for the douchebag column. Douchebag.
He's wearing a tank top.
Yeah, and I'm 100% going to be wearing a tank top. Sleeveless summer 2021. No sleeves ever.
All I know is I'm censoring nipples.
Yeah. Yeah, please did just put tape.
A big overseas famous
like a little thing
on each one. Not even like Girls Gone Wild where it's like.
Just like
put Dale's face right there.
Oh god!
I think that needs to be like what? Can you imagine if we had because most of the guests we don't know, and then they pop on and there's like 4 of us sitting there staring at them. Can you imagine if I just did an episode with my shirt off and this like some random person I never met and be like, "All right, we're gonna be talking to John today. John, welcome to the show." And he like pops on a Zoom and I'm just like not wearing a shirt. Be like, what the fuck is happening right now? Although there was that comedian who like just didn't wear a shirt, like the fat guy. He told the whole story about like a Russian. He went to Russia or studied abroad.
Bert Kreischer. I love Bert Kreischer.
Yeah, he doesn't wear a shirt. Like he just comes out.
No, he doesn't.
He's like a fat guy. He's got like a hairy chest and he just doesn't wear a shirt.
Great. He doesn't wear a shirt. No, I've seen him live. He's so good.
That's the only Seth Rogen, or not, yeah. Seth Rogen episode I could listen to with him and Tom Segura and who's the other guy. That was the only episode I could stomach, and it's just hilarious.
I'm very bro-y for a girl. Like I am. I will admit that completely. I'm like, yeah.
Well, this has been awesome, Geoff. Thanks so much for joining us, sharing your tales of the D League, now the G League. We put this out. We're going to tag them. Hopefully, they'll give it a listen and actually write me back and help promo the book, because we do love the G League. We love the D League. We love that we were part of it. We love that we helped develop it.
It's always going to be the D League, never the G League.
It's so weird. Like I was like, yeah, I played in the D League. They're like, the what? I'm like, well, now it's the G. It's like on top of having to explain 1,000 things to random strangers, like now I have to go and fix the G League, D League dynamic and be like, oh, well, where did you play? Did you play? I played in the D League, G League.
Didn't even exist. Like the kids on my baseball team don't even know. They're like, what's the D League? I'm like, it's D League now. It's the same thing. It's just different name. You were born in 2008 or whatever.
I get it. Yeah. It is hard to call it the G League. I feel like I don't. And out of respect, I guess, for the D League, I just don't even say, I'm just like, yeah, I played in the D League. It's now called the G League. But I guess I need to start saying, like, because it probably gets me more street cred if I'm just like, hey, I play in the G League. And they're like, oh, shit. Yeah, like, that's awesome. And they're like, what team do you play for? The Roanoke Ducks. The who?
Tell them it's like 3 letters earlier in the alphabet. It means it's better.
Yeah, it's true. Well, this has been fun, Geoff. Thank you so much for joining us. Michela, Cam, you guys rock. This has been a great time. We appreciate everyone for listening, talking a little D-League. Jesus Christ, I did it again. Talking a little G-League, playing some games and having some fun. Everyone, thanks so much. We'll see you guys next week. Wait, Michela, is next week the season finale?
Next week, the episode for July 2nd is our season finale.
Wow, season finale coming up next week, guys. So listen in. We're going to be celebrating some 4th of July. And then that will be the end of the season. We'll be coming back in a little bit. But yeah, this was like your Yellowstone moment. This is the episode before the season finale when all kinds of weird shit's going to happen. And now you're kind of like, whoa, what's going to happen next? G League or D League? But awesome. Good times, guys. We'll see you guys next week for the season finale of Overseas Famous Podcast. Later.